Good morning, YouTubers. We printed out a flow chart of a wiring diagram for a 97 C2 GTX. Um, and I also figured out that it's the same for a 98. So let's go through it. You ready? So Rachel printed this out and then she kind of laminated it for me. So we're going to start here at the battery. All right, so red, solid red wire comes out of the battery over to the starter solenoid, comes out of the starter solenoid, 15 amp fuse. Goes through a junction. All right, just keep following it, and then it changes to red and purple, RE and PU. So then we're going to follow it, keep following it, and it comes through here, and then it comes over here, and then it comes in red and purple on a 5 amp circuit. It also comes out of there and goes to, and I'm pretty sure that's the 5 amp circuit that has the diode in it as well, that when the diode goes bad, it wreaks havoc on the 5 amp fuses. So does a rectifier. So if you follow this over, right, so it comes out of here, red and purple also, right here, red and purple out, and over to the rectifier. Or just, I'm sorry, red over to the rectifier. Then it comes out, excuse me, red and purple. Comes out red and purple, makes a loop-de-doop somewhere in the wire harness, comes through here, and then it comes up red and purple to your information center. All right. And then black coming out of your information center is shared on that. Sorry, black. So black and red out of your information center, which is kind of right next to it, black and red, is the ground. So red and purple is your power feed from the EPDM fused circuit, and then black and red is your ground. That's for your information center. This is where I believe all the problems originate from for everything. So they also did the power and ground for the tachometer, the speedometer. So if you take a look at that, your 12-volt source is purple, okay, and purple comes right out of the EPDM as well. So purple. And the purple comes in your tachometer, and then your black wire is your ground, and then you'll see there's 2 purple and blacks per gauge here. So power in, power out, ground in, ground out. Weird. So then that same flow goes over to the speedometer the same way. Purple is your power, black is your ground. So 2 wires in, 2 wires out. And then each pertaining signal wire. So tachometer has a gray wire, which is your signal wire from your tachometer, for your tachometer. Your speedometer has its signal wire. It's purple and yellow. So let's hop over to here. Then that purple and black same wire runs over to the information center. It's crazy it takes so much power for these. So this must power up these gauges. And then this also gets a power reference from the 15 amp fuse. So that's your power and grounds for your gauges. The rest of the wires are all inputs. So air intake temperature sensor, your compass, look at all those circuits for the compass. And then your oil sensor. So there's a lot of information going on in the information center, go figure. So what my experience was, I just ordered another EPDM and gauge set that was supposedly worked. And it did, so I swapped it out, started up at idle, all the gauges worked. But when you went to give it throttle, it blew the 5 amp fuse, which is a whole nother scenario. And then I also checked the wire harness in the EPDM forward harness connectors on the EPDM. And I had a couple pins that were corroded, and the pin in the harness were corroded away. and I did replace them, but I never tested them. So what I found is when I took the information center apart, because I took all the gauges apart, the top side of the information center showed, of course, moisture. But on the bottom of the circuit board, you can see, I scraped a lot of it away trying to get it to power up. But you see that whole board's fried. So if you're dealing with an information center that doesn't light up, start with some of the basic checks. And then if you really want to know what's going on, shred the information center gauge. I would say your problems have all stemmed from there. You know, these are super old things. They've been in salt water and water, and, you know, they're 30 years old, right? 97, 2007, 2017. Yeah, they're pretty old. But they're fun to work on, and I'm learning a lot. But I hope this flowchart makes everyone's life a lot simpler if they're chasing down a gauge problem. You know, it's really simplified it for you so you don't have to go crazy. Remember, purple is your 12-volt in on your tachometer, and black is ground, and that just keeps jumping from gauge to gauge to gauge. And your power feed for your information center is red and purple, and black and red is your ground. Thanks for watching. Enjoy it.